You know, one idea I've heard gain a lot of traction in the world is this idea of neutral media, media that doesn't have any bias. And I'm just thinking, neutrality in itself is a bias when you think about it. Isn't the idea of being neutral in itself biasness towards not having a side? And of course, that's ignoring the fact that I think a lot of people don't realize the main flaw with neutral media. And keep in mind, neutral media and objective media are two entirely different things. I guarantee you, you want your media to be objective. You want them to tell you the facts, no matter where it leads you, no matter where it can lead you, because that in itself is a good thing. You want your media to tell you the truth. Neutral media does not tell you the truth. In neutral media, you aren't presenting two sides. You're not presenting the right side, you're presenting two sides. And the thing is with attempts at neutral media is that they often only get pundits from one side or the other. What about the issues that are multi-sided? Or what about the issues, as rare as they are, that are genuinely one-sided? Neutral media says, let's put them all in there anyway. And that's the main problem right there. And of course, the main concern of ideas like neutral media is when you're giving both sides a platform, you're basically saying, I don't care how crazy you are, we don't want to look like we have a side, so we're going to place you there. Meaning, in a truly neutral media, first off, a truly neutral media cannot exist unless you get people with completely opposite opinions, which is nearly impossible. But second off, and this is another thing, neutral media implies you're going to get people who are denying the facts. Like you're going to have a climate change denier or a young earth creationist. And everybody knows at this point both of those ideas are completely wrong. Like even most religious people will admit young earth creationism is stupid. Okay? And so when neutral media happens, we tend to get these really bad results, too, when they're not taking any sides. And a perfect example of this is CNN. When you got, who do you got? I can't even remember most of the CNN journalists. You got Carla Zeus for CNN Student News, who I only, who never says any political side. He just says people who agree with this say, people who disagree with this say. He never names anyone by name unless he absolutely has to. He's basically a robot. We got Wolf Blitzer, who's a complete idiot. Just a reminder, Wolf Blitzer is the man who I think got negative $4,600 at the end of Double Jeopardy when he appeared on Celebrity Jeopardy. You want to know how much Andy Colsack, the guy who co-hosts Conan, got? About $70,000. Yeah. When you're being outbeat by a guy who co-hosts Conan, you know you're an idiot. And Wolf Blitzer outside of that, I'm pretty sure is just a robot. And Anderson Cooper, who people say, like, he's this hard-hitting journalist. Anderson Cooper is not a hard-hitting journalist, people. Saying Anderson Cooper's a hard-hitting journalist is like saying a tweet was really deep and thoughtful. No. You know, I've seen media hit far harder than Anderson Cooper that didn't get nearly the limelight. You know, but of course they're ignored because they don't have that neutrality bias that CNN has. And the thing is, this neutrality bias leads to two main problems. The first one is, basically it leads to, the second someone sounds a little louder, they're automatically assumed to be correct. This is how we get, like, Fox News viewers or CBN viewers. You know, people who watch the 700 Club all the time. because they listen and think, wow, this man is hitting much harder than the mainstream media. Even if they're completely wrong, they don't know, they don't care, because it just sounds right. It's the same reason Alex Jones has over 1 million YouTube subscribers, the man who I'm pretty sure gets most of his points from a random word generator. You know, I'm Alex Jones. Hey, okay, give me a second. I'm gonna get my random word generator out. Okay, so the Canadian government is using camera water to turn Obama gay. You heard it here first, folks. You know, that's genuinely what watching an episode of Alex Jones feels like. It just feels like he's using random word generators. And you know, so that's the first issue it causes. The second issue it causes, and this is an issue that I've seen all the time as well. It's not, I'd argue it's even bigger than the first one is. The second someone speaks in a louder voice, and this happens more on the liberal side for some reason, they're automatically considered arrogant or just annoying, insulting. You know, whenever I hear the word arrogant used to describe a journalist or any sort of political commentator, I think, okay, what did they say that you disagreed with that they didn't first say, in my opinion, 18 times beforehand? You know, this happens all the time. You know, Lily Pete's dealt with it a lot. The Amazing Atheist deals with it all the time. The Young Turks. You know, Kyle Kalinske can be on Secular Talks giving these great, saying these really intellectual, really great things. But, oh, no, you see, he said it a little too loudly. He didn't say, well, in my opinion, 40 times beforehand. He didn't come back and basically kiss my butt for doing something as effortless as disagreeing with him. He's too arrogant. You know, that's where most of the Young Turks hate comes from. I'm going to tell you this right now. I have not seen a single Young Turks hate video that didn't, when you come down to it, when you think about it, just come down to someone screaming, "too left wing" at them. It doesn't address if they're right or not. It just says, "too left wing, too left wing, too left wing, too left wing." That's what I hear every time I see an anti-Young Turks video. You know, just that's always what I end up hearing, because that's really all they're saying. It's just, "too left wing." You get the idea. You know, oh, Chank, you said something right, but you said it in kind of a mean voice. It's tone policing, and it's something that I have no respect for. I don't care how you're saying something. I don't care how nice you think you're saying it. If you are saying something evil, I'm going to call you out on that. And in this mind of this moderate, you know, non-biased, neutral media, you're not allowed to do that. You're just supposed to be all respectful and, okay, I guess we can all have opinions. Even when the opinions being held aren't even opinions, they're factually wrong. But in moderate media, in neutral media, you aren't allowed to call people wrong. Anderson Cooper doesn't even vote people. He went on, I think it's Howard Stern, and said that he doesn't even vote, because he thinks that it ruins his job as a journalist. Because he doesn't hit hard. Because he's a neutral centrist. Take a side on something, for the love of anything, Anderson. You know, just take a side on something. I don't care what it is. But that's what happens in neutral media. You don't get people taking sides on things. And then when they come across people who are genuinely taking sides on things, they either think, oh, this person must be right, he's taking a side on something, or, oh no, this person's too arrogant, they're taking a side on something. It's never, oh, this person's taking a side on something, I'm gonna Google that, make sure it's right. At least this society where just a person who sounds louder, who can give a better speech is correct. And it disgusts me that we have allowed media to become that. That we have allowed media to be who can be the most neutral. And that's the reason why right-wing websites like Breitbart are flourishing. Because most liberals are not willing to stand the competition. They're just going to sit there and say, oh, you're so arrogant. Especially these fake moderates. I've talked about them so many times in the past. But they're just people who think, oh God, he might have been a bit too... And they're the root of all these problems, by the way. Everything I talk about in this video can be traced back to fake moderates. Because they're saying, no, you might have been a bit too loud. What's that Black Lives Matter movement? Well, what about All Lives Matter? You see? What do you mean I'm completely missing the point of why there's a movement in the first place? See, Black Lives Matter, you were screaming. You're anti-police. All of a sudden, you have to agree with me 100% because otherwise you're too extreme. And don't get me wrong. Black Lives Matter did go on to do some horrible things, but for like the first 3 months of that movement's existence, the only thing I heard against them was, oh, well, all lives matter, so we can't say Black Lives Matter. All lives include Black lives. So if you're going to tell me all lives matter, I'm going to say, does that include Black lives? You're going to say, yes, though, Black Lives Matter then. Or you're just a reductionist idiot. That's the only thing I could think of to explain this, that you're just a reductionist idiot who listens to tone and not what they're saying, and this comes down to media. That's why I keep circling back, because when the media is force-feeding you this idea of, no, we have to be neutral, we have to be, talking about this, why do you think they aren't covering the Justice Democrats? Because the Justice Democrats are out there taking sides on things, and we can't have that. The Justice Democrats, they're related to the Young Turks. What do the Young Turks do? Take sides on things. No. And anyone who supports these practices is a complete moron. I have no issue saying that. Who just wants everything to be, okay, you disagree with facts? Well, I guess we could just agree to disagree with facts. And complete idiots. And anyone who supports this is evil, and that's really it. I've been going in circles. I'm Cifro Joe, and good night.